Yesterday was the first session of the European Parliament since the recent EU elections, and I'm British. I just want to say, if you're watching this from mainland Europe, I'm incredibly sorry. On behalf of the British people, I want you to know that whichever way we voted, whether it be Leave or Remain, no one voted for those fucking circus acts that turned up yesterday. Now, the EU election in the UK became all about Brexit, so the two main political parties, the Tories and the Labour, they didn't do as well as usual. The parties that did do well were the anti-EU Brexit Party and the pro-EU Liberal Democrats. Now, the Brexit Party's been running for about 6 weeks. It's headed by Nigel Farage, who used to run UKIP, and depending on which side of the Brexit debate you are, he could either be some sort of evil arch nemesis or a cartoonish superhero. Farage's superpower is that if there's a journalist in a pub anywhere in the UK, a mist will appear out of the ventilation shafts and Nigel Farage will fucking materialise wearing a tweed jacket with a pint of ale and a lit cigarette. The Liberal Democrats, I'll be honest, I'd forgot they even existed until a few weeks ago. But both parties decided they needed to put on a show. So yesterday, when Ode to Joy by Beethoven was being performed, which is the EU's... Is anthem the right word? Does the EU have an anthem? Put it this way. If the European Parliament was taking part in WrestleMania, Ode to Joy would be their walk-on music. So whilst this was playing, all the Brexit MEPs stood up and turned their back on Parliament in an act of defiance. Now, it's not a surprise, because UKIP did exactly the same thing 5 years ago, but it's come to light. This isn't the first time this sort of thing has happened. This standing up and turning your back took place in 1926 in Germany, in the Reichstag, when the German National Socialist Party objected to a Jewish man talking. So if you're not 100% on your history, the National Socialist Party, better known as the Nazis, that party run by Mr. Hitler. And our MEPs are fucking aping that. Although admittedly the Brexit Party doesn't have the same stand on Europe that the Nazis did. They want out, whereas the Nazis want to drive all over it in panzer tanks. Not to be outdone, the Liberal Democrats all turned up in matching t-shirts. Fucking politicians turning up in t-shirts with the slogan on it saying, bollocks to Brexit. Now, if you turned up at your first day of any other job wearing a t-shirt with profanities on it, you'd be sacked on the spot. These are the people who are meant to be looking after our interests in fucking Europe. So Europe, very sorry from us in the UK. And it wouldn't be so bad if things were okay at home, but it's shit here as well. Because we've got the contest for who's going to be the next Prime Minister, leader of the Conservative Party, and that's between Jeremy Hunt and Boris Johnson. Now, Jeremy Hunt, I've heard on 2 occasions, the presenters of programmes accidentally call him Jeremy Cunt. And I'm given to understand that's what everyone in the NHS calls him as well. On top of that, he looks like he just walked out of a haunted fucking mirror. And then we've got Boris Johnson, and we are assured that this buffoonish behaviour is all an act and he's really an intelligent chap. And fuck, I hope that's the case. He can't be that weird in real life. Because let's be blunt, he's going to be the next Prime Minister. He's way ahead. And the one thing that's keeping me going is what it's going to be like when Prime Minister Johnson has to have a meeting with Donald Trump, the President of the USA. Now, from this side of the pond, it actually looks like the US economy is doing pretty well. But the President isn't a very good public speaker. I remember watching him when he was running for office. He was asked a question on who he would have to advise him. And his answer was, I would advise myself because I have a good brain. That's the most powerful man in the world. So I'd love to see him and Boris Johnson trying to talk to each other on television. Trump would all be like, oh, he's a great guy, fake news, bigly. Whereas Johnson's just going to be and then start quoting fucking Latin. I bet Vladimir Putin is looking at the state of world politics, thinking we best, fuel up the fighter jets, we'll go and get Poland back. Honestly, in the US, there's a big controversy about building a wall across Mexico. The state of European politics will soon be building another fucking wall through the middle of Berlin.